Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Topher Morrison. Topher is an author, speaker, owner, and a CEO at tophermorrison.com. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Topher Morrison. Topher, welcome.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you for having me as your guest. I appreciate that.
You can call me Siddique if you like to.
Siddique?
Yeah. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, in the shortest amount of time possible, when I was 13 years old, I read Zig Ziglar's book, See You at the Top, and that kind of put me on a path for personal development. So much so that in my 20s, I actually ended up purchasing a personal development franchise. Prior to that, I was actually kind of BS'd my way into a job that I had no right having. I was a corporate training director for a large computer keyboard manufacturing company up in the Pacific Northwest. I have literally been a professional speaker since the age of 19. So that's pretty much all I know how to do. I like to say I'm a little bit of a one-trick pony. I'm good on stage, and that's about it.
What are the top 3 mistakes to avoid?
Top 3 mistakes that I think business owners make, specifically with regard to developing a pitch. Number 1 is they don't practice their pitch at the time they should be. In fact, what they do is they end up using the actual most important time when they're in front of a potential customer as the time to figure out their pitch. That's the wrong time to do it. You should be doing it months in advance before you ever have to deliver your pitch. Second mistake I'd say people make is that they try to be cute and memorable in their pitch by having these slogans or these catchphrases, and rarely do they come across authentic and real during a pitch. There is a time for a slogan, but it's not during a pitch. And then the third, I would have to say, is probably that after they deliver their pitch, they keep trying to talk about their company. And for me, when I'm delivering a pitch, I want to get it back to the topic of the person who's listening as quickly as possible. So I think the biggest mistake people make is they keep talking about themselves, and they should be talking about the other individual.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
When I was 24, maybe 25, and I bought that personal development franchise, I was all cut up in my ego. I didn't know how to run a business. I didn't have the first clue on how to do that. And my ego got in the way, and I refused to ask for help, so much so that after about 9 months, ran the thing into the ground, had to shut it down. But the most humbling part was about 9 months into that, one of my very few customers that I got in that 9 months actually ended up donating food to me during a food drive during the holidays because he saw me losing so much weight. And that just absolutely broke me down. It crushed my ego, which was a great thing, but it devastated me. And I think probably the way I learned from that was that ego has no place or position inside business. And if you don't know how to do something, you should be asking people who do know how to do it how it should get done. That was probably my biggest lesson, which was great because now I have no problem asking for help or letting people know that I don't know.
How did you recover from it?
Well, I worked my ass off to pay off the debt that I generated. But, I actually went back and I worked for the franchisor, learned how to sell, learned how to run a business, and continued to develop my craft as a speaker. And I've been on the entrepreneurial journey ever since, at one form or another.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can model from?
Well, I'd say the first one, specifically in the area of pitching, would be to practice before you need to pitch. Absolutely learn your message before you have to deliver it. Number 2, I'd have to say know your numbers. Numbers are the language of business, and far too many entrepreneurs don't know how to read a balance sheet, a P&L, or a 13-week cash flow, and that is absolutely crucial. And then the third one I'd say is surround yourself by excellence. Make sure that your team just doesn't tell you what they want to hear, but what you want to hear, but rather tell you what you need to hear.
What is your company's motto?
Company motto is, our slogan, I guess you call that a motto, is pitch development for business leaders.
Who is your ideal client?
Our ideal clients are going to be service-driven companies versus product-driven brands. that are doing at least 7 figures in revenue and have a minimum of 10, probably even ideally 15 employees.
How do you find your ideal client?
Currently, right now, it's all word of mouth, and that does a relatively good job. But one of the things that we've just created where I'm speaking to you from is my new broadcast studio. And so in order for us to drive revenue into a broadcast studio where my past clients may not even know we have it available, we're going to be going into a pretty aggressive online marketing campaign, pay-per-click ads, to let individuals know in the Tampa area that there is a high quality, state-of-the-art broadcast studio available for them to run their shows from.
How do you engage your ideal client?
We engage well. So we follow a 4-step process that was developed by Daniel Priestley, the author of Key Person of Influence, which is a methodology by which you take somebody from a suspect to a prospect to a customer to a client. So the best way to engage, we feel, is to create a series of unconditional gifts that provide high value, entertain, and evoke emotion within the individuals that compel them to want to learn more information. So we have tons of free videos and free content and blogs that people can go learn a little bit about pitching and professional speaking. And then if they want to learn more, then they can become what we refer to as a product for prospect, where we do have content, but it's walled off and it's only available for people who are willing to pay a small fee or willing to basically enter the funnel and become a prospect. From there, we have a sales conversation. And after the sales conversation, they become a customer. But our ultimate goal is to take a customer and turn them into a client, which I define as somebody who a customer is more transactional, but a client is more relational. And they will come back over and over and send you referrals as well.
What are your well-defined products and or services?
So on the gift side, which is probably what your viewers are more interested in right now, we have a series of videos on YouTube called Minute to Pitch It, where they can go and they can watch these videos, obviously free of charge. There are 52 one-minute tips on how to pitch more effectively. I also have a blog that they can go to at tophermorrison.com, and they can read up on pitch and presentation secrets. And then from there, getting into the product for prospect, we have everything from low barrier to entry, like my books that I've written. Also, we have speech consulting, where if somebody's developed a keynote but they haven't delivered it yet, they can send me a recording of that. We create a split screen feedback tool to where I help them to rewrite their script, deliver their presentation, write some jokes, adjust the content, maybe resequence it to make sure that they get the biggest punch possible.
Why someone should buy from you?
Well, I think somebody isn't necessarily the right question there, but the person who has a service-driven business who has been commoditized because there's so many other people out there that deliver relatively the same type of service and need to find a way to communicate what they do in such a unique way that allows them to stand aside from the crowd. Those are the people that should work with me, because that's what I do better than anything. I do not believe a product-driven company should probably hire me. Quite frankly, it's not my specialty. There are pitch masters out there that help people with product far better than I do.
How do you crush your competition?
I don't crush my competition. I don't believe in crushing my competition. I cooperate with my competition, or as I like to call it, co-opetition. I think there's more than enough money to be made in the world, and there's more than enough people out there to help provide great services. I'd rather actually work with the people that I quote unquote compete with and send them people that I can't, for whatever reason, close. Maybe I'm not the right fit, but maybe my competition is.
How do you deliver a 5-star client experience?
I think we can have an entire interview on just that one question alone, Siddique. So what I'll do is I'll just share with you one tip that I think works really well. And I don't even remember where I got it from, the actual phrase, but I remember it. The phrase is speed stuns. Meaning, if you want to really impress your clientele, don't wait. Deliver immediately. So whether that be if they've just signed up, they immediately get a FedEx package or a gift. Or if they've sent you some business, they immediately get a thank you card. If you've had a lunch with somebody, you get that card out in the mail right away. So within 24 hours, they're getting it in the post, and it shows them that you're grateful. The more you can deliver your gratitude at a speedy level, I think the more your customers get impressed and they're blown away by that.
How do you use your sales proposals to close more deals?
So, with regard to a sale, I have to credit a gentleman by the name of Roger Hamilton, who wrote the book Your Life, Your Legacy. He has a great philosophy on money. He feels that money often behaves very much like water. And so, if you want water to flow from one direction to another, you need to have a variance in degree. Well, if you want money to flow from one person to another, you better have a degree or a variance. And that is the difference between the price that you charge and the value that you deliver. So, for me, in a sales conversation, it's about asking enough questions to create enough value for your services that it goes 10x the value of what it is that you're actually charging for, because you don't want to do a sales conversation like this. That's just going to, you might get the sale, but it'll take forever. You have a variance like this, that sale will happen much, much faster. So I focus on the value, compare it to the price, and if it's the right fit, the client will buy.
How do you convert your clients into a brand ambassadors?
For me, that's one thing, a client customer-centric service. So making sure that you're delivering outstanding customer service, and the more outstanding it is, the easier it is to get those referrals. Now, I will say this, delivering an excellent customer service is one thing, but without asking for those referrals, you can have the best customer service in the world, and it still may not occur to your clientele that, in fact, they should be giving you referrals. So I would say it's a two-part phase. Number one, deliver impeccable customer service. Number two, ask for it.
We are about to move into a lightning round. That means quick question and quick answer. Are you ready?
All right, fire away, Siddique.
What are you grateful for today?
My dog, my assistant Kelly, and this interview opportunity with you, Siddique.
How do you start your day?
7 minutes of stretching, 7 minutes of exercise, and then 1 hour of reading at the minimum every single day, 7 days a week, never fail.
How young are you?
52.
So, Topher, you are not 52. You are 18 years old with 34 years experience. What you want to do when you grow up?
So what's that?
What you want to do when you grow up?
Oh, God, I hope I never do grow up. But I will say, I think the politically correct answer is I'm already doing it. But that's not really true. I mean, I love what I do, but my values have shifted over the years. And I'm really getting drawn toward community service. So I would like in some way to serve my city, whether that be political office or becoming a part of a board. I think that's something that I'd love to see myself be able to do to help out my city.
I'm going to take a side U-turn here, and I know on your LinkedIn profile you say you're a former mayoral candidate for the city of Tampa.
Yes.
And tell me, how did it go?
I came in dead last. I learned a very valuable lesson. 2 things necessary to win an election, and it's not necessarily strong policy. It is money and notoriety. You've got to have name recognition, and you've got to have money, and those are the 2 biggest things. My competitors that I went up against, I think the winner spent about $2.5 million. The second place runner-up spent about $6 million. I spent around $100,000, so I was not even in the same league. But lesson learned, and the next time I run, hopefully we'll be a little bit smarter.
So you plan to do it over again?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I definitely am going to serve my city in some way. I've joined a few boards right now. We'll see how the impact goes on that, but I'm definitely compelled to serve my city somehow. We'll see how that shows up.
So we talked about what you want to do when you grow up, and what is your plan to achieve your goal?
Well, if it gets into the area of running for office again, my plan is going to be to hire the best political consultants that money can buy, because I did discover that those people are worth their weight in gold for sure. And I never really had a true political consultant that I could have relied on for guidance and for answers. So that probably the first step for sure. Yeah.
Okay, ask me the introduction. I know someone. Just will let you know.
So say that again.
I know someone who can help you on that side. Ask me for that introduction.
Send them my way. You bet.
How will you feel in case you don't achieve your goal?
I'll be perfectly okay with that. I think life presents you a lot of twists and turns, and you should be open to see where life leads you. So I have a direction, but the direction is for the purpose of movement, and I head in that direction. And if I achieve it, great. And if not, maybe something better is down the road. Yeah.
How do you overcome challenge life throws at you?
I tend to go very internal. And then once I've made my conclusions, then I'll go external to a mentor and compare my notes mentally with them and see if they agree.
What is the advice you will give to younger yourself?
My younger self, it would have been to save and invest more money and work on knowing your numbers in business much deeper than you did.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
My significant other. I usually give her a dog biscuit or take her for a walk. Usually that's how I get my dog on board with just about anything. And that is, at this point in time, that's my significant other.
Why being impactful is important to you?
Well, I've been reading a lot lately from Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus and Seneca and great Stoics. And I think if you're not contributing, if you're not giving, you're not leading a good life. And for me, I want to lead a good life. I want to make, and by the way, maybe even rephrase that because I think that term gets twisted to business. I want to lead a life of good. And for me, that's contributing, because if you're just here for yourself, we're not a solitary creature. We're here to help people out. So for me, that's why it's important, is to make sure that I'm actually living a life of good.
What's the impactful business book you have read, and what did you learn from it? Can I see the cover, please?
Yep. I'm fully prepared for that based upon our pre-interview, which was very impressive. So let me open it up here on my Kindle. Everything I do for the most part is ebook. So this is one of the most phenomenal books ever written. It's by Daniel Priestley. It's called Key Person of Influence. And I think it is a fantastic guidance for entrepreneurs who are setting out to want to attract more business versus chase the business down.
I understand that you're author of a number of books. Can I see at least one of your book, and why someone should read it, and what they will learn from that?
Sure. This is not my style, but you requested, so I have it available. So this is my latest book. It's called The Book on Public Speaking. Not a very creative title, I know, but the information inside more than makes up for it. And it's designed specifically for business owners who need to communicate their message to their customers in a group setting or a group format. Whether that be on camera, whether that be on stage, it doesn't matter. In fact, we actually have specific segments on-camera presentation skills, which are different than on-stage presentation skills, which we also cover in there as well.
Who is your living mentor, and what's the impact?
I have several mentors, all for different areas of my life, but in the context of growth hacking secrets or business, I would say there are two. One is Dan Bradbury, who is a growth strategist out in the UK, and the other one is Daniel Priestley, the author of this book that I endorse so highly. He's become a friend and a business partner at some point in time, and still is a mentor to this day. And I think that both those two Dans are pretty incredible people, and I'm grateful that they're in my life.
I like to interview both of your mentors. Can I get the introduction from them, please?
I would be honored to give you an introduction. You bet.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Being a good human.
How can we support you?
Anything else is a bonus.
How can we support you?
You know what? If you like my videos on YouTube, which is the Minute to Pitch It series, if you go to YouTube and you just search Topher Minute to Pitch It, it'll pop up. And if you like that, hey, pick up a copy of the book too. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. Spread the word. If you like the videos, make sure you share the links and spread the word as best you can. That'd be grateful. Yeah, I'd be real grateful.
We are about to wrap up. I'd like to have your few words about your today's guest experience on the show. Here is my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on the show?
I will tell you, Siddique, and I'm not saying this just because I'm on the interview with right now. I've done a lot of online broadcasts, and I will tell you that bar none, you had the most professional preparatory experience that I've ever been on a show before. There was no questions. There was nothing left to be wondering how this is going to lay out. You did a very good job on that. I was quite impressed at your level of systemization that you've created. I was very impressed.
What would you say as a final word?
Final words. Let's all try a little harder to be a little better.
Thank you so much, Topher, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.